Abduction, Chapter 6, Part 2. The other byproduct of my nightmares was I never look up at the sky the same. As a child, I would stargaze for hours on a hillside near my house. It was a perfect vantage point to look up at the night sky and gaze at the billions of stars. The hilltop was owned by my grandfather, so there was no threat of trespassing. On some nights, my grandfather would join me and point out the constellations. I loved those summer days. Now, however, I look up at the night sky and wonder if it's looking back. It's not a comfortable feeling or one I wish upon anyone. "Why do you keep coming back here when you say you're afraid you might be abducted?" I asked. Valeri shrugged. "I keep hearing about people from Lutsk that have been lifted into the UFO, and I wonder if it's true." "Do you want to be abducted?" exclaimed Echo with the amusement of a small child. "Da," replied Valeri. "It would be an experience not many people would ever have." "Aren't you afraid that they may conduct experiments on you?" asked Echo. Valeri shrugged again. "No, it's a small price for the opportunity." In my mind, Valeri was playing crazy. My initial assessment of him was changing for the worst. Not that I thought Valeri was a bad guy, but more that he may not have all his marbles. I couldn't imagine that some would want to be experimented upon by alien beings. It would be like wanting to be kidnapped by the mafia and tortured for posterity's sake. It was inconceivable in my mind. "I can relate to that," said Echo. "Are you nuts?" I asked as I turned my head to look at my girlfriend. "No," muttered Echo. "From what we know about alien abductions, having medical experiments done on a person seems to be part of being kidnapped by aliens. It would be worth it." I shook my head in disbelief. "Do you want to be kidnapped by aliens?" Echo shrugged. "I'm not saying I want to be, but if I was, I understand what might happen." I threw my hands into the air half-heartedly. I wasn't sure that I knew the girl that I had fallen in love with during college, lost touch with, and gotten back together with. She couldn't have become a stranger to me right under my nose, unless I wasn't paying attention. "I don't think that there are many that would want to be experimented on by alien beings," claimed Valeri. "I think people realize this might happen, and many are afraid of this. I am, but I know having this experience might be worth the risk." Although my thoughts and feelings about Valeri were still evolving, I couldn't help but like the guy. There was an energy about him that made you want to like him. This energy about him and having common interest helped Echo get over her initial distrust of the man. Echo no longer stood close enough to be my shadow. Instead, she stood away at a comfortable distance, as she usually would with you talking to friends. "I think you're both crazy," I said with a laugh. If there was any further ice or tension that needed to be broken, my laugh melted it away. But Echo and Valeri joined in my little chuckle and smiled. "Yes, I think it's crazy too," stated Valeri. "Even my boss thinks I am crazy for wishing this experience, but insists that I continue with this dream." "Oh yeah? What do you do for work?" asked Echo. "I am a personal trainer at the City Center Sporting Club," replied Valeri. "If you ever been through the City Center, you may have seen it." "You should go," said Echo with a gentle nudge of her elbow into my ribs. Having Echo urge me to explore on my own while I'm in a Slavic country was a first. She chuckled with amusement at my bemused look. "I have a pass that you can have to get you into the sporting club," said Valeri, as he fished around in his leather jacket pockets, trying to find the piece of paper. "It'll be fine. It'll give you a chance to make friends here," said Echo. "It'll also give me a chance to catch up with Tatiana without a man around." Valeri was still fishing around to find a gym pass in one of his pockets, but this gave me a moment to converse with Echo. She was acting like a stranger that I wondered what was gone through that pretty little mind of hers. It's not like she ever did things that surprised me, but during this trip, I was out of my comfort zone with her. Valeri had left me and Echo for a moment. I knew this because of the crunching sound of his boots made on the snow. By the time I looked up, he was reaching into his car and grabbed something. When he had it, he raised it in the air to show Echo and me that he had found what he was looking for. "You don't mind?" I asked, to be sure this is what Echo wanted. After all, I didn't want to misunderstand her and have her pissed at me later. "No, I don't mind," Echo replied. "I think you can handle yourself, and Valeri speaks English well, so you won't have any problems with the language barrier. Go and have fun. Make a friend." I looked over at Valeri, walking back toward Echo and me, and seemed happier than a kindergartner with a lollipop. The gut feeling I was getting was telling me to be careful. I could not understand why my senses were going off and issuing a warning. Valeri seemed like a nice guy and the type of person that I had met countless times before. There was only one way to know what was going on, and that was pay this guy a visit in the local gym. Whatever I was sensing would reveal itself in due time. The only good thing was that Echo would be out of harm's way if anything went wrong.